Welcome back, calls. Recording not on the court today, mainly because we needed to have a special guest, which we'll jump right into in just a second. But yeah, pretty interesting day for Major League Pickleball, and from last weekend too. Crazy stories coming out. So
just Major League Pickleball in general.
Yeah,
it's a must watch. You can't miss a minute.
It is. It's high drama at the moment, which is exactly what we need.
Yeah. So let's jump right into our guest first, and then we'll come back and we'll finish the rest of the stuff.
Okay. Well, our guest remotely, which we don't do often, but we felt like this was a situation that we had to. We'll welcome Hayden Patriquin, my favorite player, and maybe a lot like myself when I was 18, 19. So we're here to obviously talk about MLP. Hayden, welcome. Thank you for being on.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Yo. I actually have one story, and maybe Hayden remembers it or not. Way back in the day when we played our first MLP, when we got to the semifinals, Hayden was in the crowd, and I was handing out T-shirts. And I was saying to everyone, like, hey, you want a T-shirt? Yeah, I want one. Only thing is you have to cheer for the Florida Smash. Yeah, no problem. Come to Hayden. This is like 3 years ago now. I say, hey, you just got to cheer for Smash. He's like, nah, I ain't doing that. Keep your free shirt.
That sounds all right. Hey, stay true to yourself.
He had swag, even from day one,
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was talking shit to me. The first time I played him, he played with Julian Arnold, and he was fucking, who is this kid? And he was talking shit to me on day one.
Yeah.
I think I played Travis's first tournament too in Punta Gorda. Remember with Ryler?
Oh, you did. That's right. Okay, that's right. So the second time I played you was Julian Arnold. Me and Ryler beat you and Wyatt Stone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Intense grinder.
It was a grinder. I think it was like 11-8 in the third.
Yeah, it was a long match in the summer.
Anyway. All right, so let's kick it off. Let's run through the circumstance. I'll kind of lay the foundation. Obviously, a lot of chatter around the circumstance between you and Anna Leigh in the past match. And, as a friend of yours, to some extent, I guess I'm too old to ultimately be your friend, but someone that admires you and looks at you as a guy who can kind of carry the weight of the game and hopefully, has enough swag where people actually want to watch you and want to root for you. I want to defend you, but I also want, your personal take on it. So why don't you kind of kick off the scenario for us and tell us what happened during that match with the Fives and Anna Leigh?
First off, I shouldn't have said what I said. I was heated, it gets heated.
Tell me really quick. What was the score line when this happened? Like, was this the first mix? Okay. Were you guys at 1-1? Where were we at?
So this was the first mixed where we won men's and Shock won women. So we're up 2-0. It's me and Kate versus Will and Anna Leigh. So our two team, they're one team. Basically, yeah. So we, Anna Leigh and Will are great. We got smoked. I was hit 4 to 5 times. And then, at the end of the game, I was like, all right, whatever. I go up there. I'm like, good match. And Anna Leigh's looking at me and laughing at me. And I'm like, what is going on?
I did notice that in the video clearly. There was a lot of chuckling in your direction.
In my face. And I'm like, what the heck? All right. And so, I'm asking Anna Leigh, I'm like, why are you laughing? Well, kind of walking away, like, why are you laughing? I might have said something to Will, like, why is she laughing at me? And whatever. I walk back. And she's like, that's what you deserve. And it's like for chirping or something along those lines. And I'm heated. I'm like, you know what? And FUB,
Right.
And which I shouldn't have done it. But, I just want to make it known that I didn't just call her that out of nowhere. I'm not saying it's good. I didn't say that just like because I lost, I wasn't being a sore loser.
I think the one thing that I was having a tough time with online, which is why, again, I don't even necessarily think defending you is the right word, but I just know that one, you've called me that, which I'm okay with. It's obviously different when it's a woman, but I also know that in the NBA, players call this to each other all the time. NFL, it's common dialogue. Every schoolyard in the United States, this is common dialogue. And what upset me was people saying like, oh, he's a woman hater, he's a misogynist, he's a prick. And I was like, hey, like take it. Yes, said the wrong word. Should never use that word. Mistake. We'll learn from the mistake. Young guy. But by no means do I think in any way that your intention was to be like, women are less or I'm degrading women. I don't ever,
not at all.
I never felt like that. So I felt the only sense of like defense that I felt in regard to this was when I was reading that and it was like, okay, I have a I have a little girl also. If a dude said that to her, like, yeah, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd also realize that it's common dialogue, and I'd probably say, tell it back, like, fuck you, bitch. Like, bring it back. If we're all on an even playing field, things are heated. Sometimes we occasionally say the wrong thing.
Right.
Hayden, what's like your relationship with Anna Leigh? Are you guys close? Do you, like, how would you describe you two, like, on the two?
Our relationship has always been good. We've always been friends, friends, like kind of like I guess how Travis and I are. We talk, while we walk by or whatever. Um, Obviously very competitive. Anna Leigh have been we've gotten into it a few times, a lot actually. Um, but it's never bad blood. If things go overboard, we always text each other. You're great. I love you. Stuff like that.
Right.
It's all in the court.
Mutual respect.
Yeah, we've always been good with each other.
Okay, so so you say what you shouldn't say, and then she proceeds to, come over on your side, and why don't you take us from there?
Yeah, she comes over. Andrew tries to like block, move with her. Get her like away from me. And she's in my face. Pointing in my face, doing this. I just put my hands up. I'm like, if she hits me, like I'm just like this.
Would Anna Leigh beat your ass?
Anna Leigh would kick my ass. That's why I had my hands. I didn't want any smoke. I didn't want any
I don't want
smoke.
any piece of it. I watched her she's faster than me, she's stronger than me, and she's certainly more tenacious than me. So yeah, I wouldn't want a piece, but anyway.
I didn't want any part of it. But yeah, she bulldozed her way through and gave me a few words, gave it back to me. I respect it.
It seems like fair game.
Fair game. Yeah.
Now, granted, it sounds like she opened the door a little bit with kind of like, that's what you deserve, or that's what you get. And you chose the wrong thing to say, but would it be perceived badly if you said anything else? Do you think, like, if you had said,
oh, that's terrible.
Well, I mean, that would be perceived as terrible.
I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? No shit. Mr. Obvious. Hardcore slut. I got it.
Words
you can't
not
say
to say.
things.
I was actually thinking that after the fact. I was like, what could I've said? I shouldn't have said anything, but I think you just stick with "fuck you" or something like that.
Or fuck off.
Fuck off.
That's the question. Like, would she be upset, or would they be upset with "fuck off"? Which I don't necessarily think so. And then that takes me to like my next point. Chirping is good for pickle. You agree with that, right?
I totally agree.
I like that banter. Like, especially coming from tennis, where you're so far away, nobody says shit. It's not really like that personal interaction. And so what always worries me is that when there is kind of like a negative tone to interaction between players that might be a little bit derogatory, it always worries me that we're going to like slip into this pattern of, oh, you can't say anything. Now, that's not the case here. You fucked up. But at the same time, chirping is good. You should be able to chirp. We should be able to talk shit. And Anna Leigh, like, if anyone gives it to her on the court, guaranteed she's getting it back. She's fucking pumping in your face, pounding the chest, whatever she wants to do. So to some extent, it's on. Like, we're all out here. We're all competing. And if you get with me, I'm going to get with you.
For sure.
Have you guys chatted since? Like, have you done that whole thing? Like, we good? Or is this one's no?
No.
Reach out.
Never got to it. Yeah, for sure. But no.
Do you think there should be a security guard on the court in general? Now, obviously, your dude's wearing security this week, which I appreciate.
Yeah. I think they're even selling the merch now.
Andrew.
I like that. I mean, that like what we were talking about before, the strategy to go with this, which was terrible. I'm dumb. It's obvious. And I will say, I'll give credit to Agassi. He told me straight up, he's like, you're a fucking idiot. Don't tell him that. Straight up. But, it's smart to sell that merch. Do you think there should be a security guard on the court? And do you think that it's necessary to ensure that other players don't cross? Like, do you think that was bad form on her? Do you think it was warranted? Like, what's your take?
I don't think what she did was right. I don't think what I did was right. I think we were both at fault there. If that's, another man that's in your face like that, I think it goes to like you pushing and then fighting,
level, for sure.
I don't know necessarily, this rule they have not crossing, we're still crossing to like meet our players and stuff. I'm not really sure what they should do about that, honestly. maybe have someone there to mediate stuff. I'm not really sure, honestly.
Well, aren't they? They're moving it to now where you don't have to switch sides in between games, so you get to
Right.
stay on your bench the whole time, but you're still going to
Right,
cross.
yeah,
Oh, we're
even
still
like for like
crossing to like,
Right,
you know,
right,
like on a
gotcha.
timeout, we're like coming over, like, oh, let's go, you know, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it's still happening, you know.
Yeah. So
but-
maybe they just need to clarify the rule there that, you know, maybe it's a small slap on the wrist for both. But in this particular case, I hope that neither of you get any blowback. I actually thought the way that MLP handled it was awesome, to say like a lot of people are wondering what our statement is. Our statements, they're fucking two young kids that are going to learn, and this is great for pickleball. It's good drama. They both care. They're both competing. Let's move on.
Mhm.
And I think that's the right take. And then we all learn from it and go from there. So yeah, I actually thought also, and I just want to touch on this, I thought what Leigh did was cool. And I'm probably going to get blowback for that. And maybe not something like this. I'll send it to your inbox. But what I like that she did is, as a parent, she defended her daughter in that moment. And then if you notice when Anna Leigh comes back over, she's like, you can't go over there, or you shouldn't have gone over there. But in the moment, and like, you know, I'll say like Rowan come and slap Graham if he did something to her, and I'd be like, yeah, get him. And then I come and be like, you can't touch him. But in the moment, I'm going to defend her. She's mine. And so like as a parent, I was like, yeah, that the fact that she's got her back like that, that's good parenting to me.
For sure. You know, I thought that, yeah, I mean, I respect it, but I don't really like that Anna Leigh, what she said was like, oh my God, he shoved me, you know, which wasn't the case at all. I think that's bad. I think that's really bad because, you know, Andrew
It's
could
a
have gotten in
serious
a
accusation.
lot of trouble
Right.
from that accusation. I think that was, you know, that wasn't right at all. That was awful.
I think he was in an impossible position. There's nothing that he could have done there that's right. If he lets her just go by, then you could say, hey, what's going on? You got to defend your player. She ran right through you. And as you stated, if it was a man that was coming across, then he did too little. He would need to restrain the guy, or, you know, maybe even check him a little bit. I think he was trying to do the best possible job in that moment to ensure that it didn't escalate. I think he did his best.
For sure.
And like I said, she's stronger than me. He probably needed to move the body a little bit because she'd fucking run through a brick wall.
Yeah, she was determined for sure.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. Like, how do you feel about like MLP or UPA, like using this as, like you said, you were happy with what they said, but they're definitely using this like as an opportunity to market, or they're pushing into it. How do you feel about that, since it's you that's part of this incident?
Yeah, I'm all about growing the sport. I think whatever we have going, I think it was good that they marketed it and, you know, showed people. I think it was on Barstool, actually, on their website, not on their Instagram.
That's awesome.
I think it's good for the sport. You know,
Yeah.
bad publicity, whatever it is, you know, it's good. It's all good. So
100%.
I
I'm just
think it's great for
wondering.
the sport.
I was just wondering how it's affecting you. Do you care? But if you're saying that, then I'm really on board.
Yeah, well, he didn't get a little backlash, but I think he's going to handle it well enough to be like, yeah, I fucked up, but let's all move on.
Yeah. I definitely had some backlash. You know, some stuff that, you know, may piss me off. You know, I have a little, or kind of a big temper. Yeah, I try to stay off social media, but yeah, you know, you're gonna get backlash for what I did. I mean,
Okay, last question. Tell me about today. What happened with the? I know you got to go to a dinner here in a few minutes. So what happened with you getting hit in the head and you got dizzy or something?
So basically, I got we were in a hands battle. You know, I reach out and then it kind of ricochets. It hits me, you know, in the eye socket, basically.
Damn.
Luckily, I had my eye closed. You know, it still hurt, but instantly it was very, you know, blurry, and I was just kind of walking around like, holy shit, like, you know, this is bad.
Yeah.
And I kind of just walked it off a little bit, went into the medical timeout. You know, apparently we only have 5 minutes for that now, which is terrible.
Okay. As opposed to 15. Tennis is only 3, bud.
Okay. Tennis sucks.
Yeah.
Tennis sucks.
There you go.
Damn.
We did some eye drop. It just took a little bit of time. I was definitely a little rattled because I was like, holy shit, you know, that could have ended me. You know, I was actually thinking that. But we lost the men's. Kate and Gabe came back, brought us back in mix, and then Anna and I finished.
Are you going to start wearing shades after that?
Does that make you want to wear eye protection?
Like, are you going to wear something?
Maybe. We'll see. I feel like it messes with my vision.
Before you go.
Okay.
Do you think your head, like, obviously as a little dude, you still have extremely heavy hands, fast hands, soft hands. I say there's 3 kinds of hands: heavy, fast, and soft. You seem to have all 3. Do you think that's innate, like a God-given gift, or do you think that has something to do with your sporting background growing up, baseball, hand-eye, whatever it is? Like, why do you have those assets that are so challenging for others to gain?
I think it's a gift, honestly.
He's
I
got
never
it.
worked on that. I feel like it's a gift. I mean, yeah, some people just have it, some people don't.
Damn.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
dude. We'll just keep doing you.
I got
We love watching
one
you.
more quick question.
Okay, go for
What
it.
do you
Let's
think
hear
about
it.
the Johns brothers here? What's
Um,
going on right now?
I think everyone's out there, playing, doing their thing, trying to grow the sport, and I don't think it's the best look for the Johns. Whatever, I heard or I saw something on Twitter that the light wasn't right or something. I don't even know. I don't think it's good though, honestly.
Yeah.
I've never seen you tank a match, man. I've always seen you bust your ass every
Yeah.
point I've seen you play. You're in it.
Yeah, I mean, you can even bring up the Anna Leigh and Agassi thing. Anna Lee's out there busting her ass.
Oh,
Agassi's not
and
not the
so is
best.
he.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, the
exactly.
guy
You know
had
what I mean?
fucking cortisone shots and stuff. I mean, like his back was fucked, and he went out there and
Yeah.
busted his ass the best he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you're
think
right.
I think you got to go 110% always. What we're all playing in it. We're all
And we
struggling.
all owe it. We owe it. Like that's the part that kills me. We all owe pickleball. Pickleball doesn't owe us
Mhm.
shit. We owe
Yeah.
pickleball. And if you see
Yeah.
it any other way, then you're wrong.
Yeah. But I hope they do something about it for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, yeah. We're
All
going
right,
to talk more about it, but I just wanted to get your take, but cool.
Go enjoy your dinner. Keep doing you. We'll keep watching and rooting for you.
And shout out
All
to
right,
room
guys.
23.
Shout out room 23. Yeah.
Mama.
My
Later.
mom's a teacher, so she had a bunch of kids watching for like a PE thing, They loved
That's
it.
probably the best day of their lives.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what do you guys think about Hayden's reaction there?
I think it's the right one. I think he acknowledges that he made a mistake with the word that he used, but as I've been consistent with, at least in my thought process, is any reprimanding of him or consequence to he or Anna Leigh, I think is unnecessary. Or the guy wearing the security thing. I think it's just something we all will learn from, and like it or not, it's also good for the sport to have that interaction from time to time where people are getting chippy and they care and they want to win. And, you got to credit both of them on that front. They fucking want to win. They're pissed. Like that's the way sports go.
Yeah. Well, there's some new drama today that I guess we can just hop right into, which is that Ben and Colin withdrew from playing the rest of their matches in Columbus,
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yep. Pickle and chill.
And the reason is, they say, is lighting. There's not enough lighting. There's been so many thoughts and comments just within the last 3 hours of this. So I guess what are your initial reactions to what's going on? And then maybe I'll throw in some reactions from other people.
First, I want to say it's happening in this moment, within the last hour this news is being dropped. But
go ahead. You share your thoughts first.
Well, the first thing is everyone's playing in that lighting. It's the same argument we always have. It's like you're playing a bad Vulcan ball. Everyone's playing the bad Vulcan ball. You're playing on a windy day. Everyone's playing on a windy day. You're playing in bad lights. Everyone's playing in bad lights. Why is it any different? Right. I personally don't think the lights is the reason they pulled out. I think that's just...
we played there. The lights were great.
They were great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember any issue when we played there.
Yeah. Not even when that ball came off of Georgia's thumb for a winner to take us out of the...
I blacked out. I remember.
But so I think forget the lights. I think that's just the PR move,
right?
For why they're pulling out. I think the real reason is they just don't want to play MLP. They're not interested with playing partners that aren't the number 2 female in the world, number 1 female in the world,
right.
or it's not fun for them.
Right. Yeah. So for context, he's playing with Tammy Emmerich, who was playing Challenger last year and has now been bumped to Premier. And from what I gather, just didn't look like he really appreciated her on the court as they were playing in their last match.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment. I mean, I think that a lot of things are compounding here, whether his disinterest in MLP or his lack of desire to play with certain partners. And to me, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but it shouldn't affect the product that he puts forward. Unfortunately, it does substantially. Mm-hmm. And I did feel bad for Tammy as it was happening, because she's just doing her best, and some people aren't as talented or gifted or as good, whatever, and they're trying. So to see her be dismissed point after point as if it didn't matter, nobody cared, sucked for her. Really, heart goes out to her. It's a shitty feeling. And it's kind of been a pattern of behavior. I feel weird because Colin did the same thing. I think they tried in men's, lost, and then after Ben did that in his mixed, Colin seemed to follow suit and take the lead from his younger brother. So, as my old coach, Wayne Bryan, used to say, he would kick kids out of our clinic if they misbehaved because one cancer can affect everybody. And that's kind of what we saw. It's a really, really bad look for them primarily, but it's also a bad look for MLP, PPA, UPA in general. If we are this cohesive entity, then we need to make sure that both of the tours that we support are taken just as seriously, and our players leave it all out there and do their best and want to win and compete. And it was very, very, very difficult to watch. So I have empathy for him because he's got to obviously have some internal battle going as a young guy with a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, a lot of people asking him for things. But, again, that's secondary to the idea that people are paying money to watch you. You have this platform. You are important, all because of this game that you're now shitting on.
Yeah. So, Graham, what's your take? Because with the last stuff, you were saying that this is good for the sport. It's creating storylines. Anna Leigh and Hayden took the storylines for that last weekend. This is blowing up. Players are like getting all up into it and, making jokes about it. Do you think this fits in the same category?
First off, I want to say it's a bit inspirational for me because I tank sometimes when I'm playing recreationally. I'm not like tanking. It's just like, I can't explain it.
You're like Graham.
And it's like when I watch it happening, I think, damn, I'm kind of like that sometimes. Not in the same manner. It's not because I have a bad partner or something like that. Sometimes I feel like if I have a match, there's no way I can win. Like if I'm playing Travis in some other 6-0 and I'm like, no matter what I do, I'm going to lose this match 11-1 or 11-2.
Right.
I don't play all out. And whatever the reason for that is, the bad mood that day, but like seeing it happen firsthand again, it's like, I don't want to do that ever again. Like in my mind, I'm going to play harder when it's harder or my partner is not as good.
My honest, psychological assessment of that is I don't think Ben was elite at any sport up until pickleball. When you are elite as a junior in a particular sport, generally, if you lose 11-3, your thought process is next time I'll lose 11-4, 11-5. I'm going to keep fighting till I get better and better and better. So simply because he's generally head and shoulders above the field, when things are very, very difficult, I think he's, the kid that was 75 in Maryland in tennis and not amazing at ping pong, but good. Like he wasn't an exceptional athlete. So his default is to be soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think it's good? Do you think this is a good look or a bad look for the sport?
Bad.
I mean,
there's no way it's good.
There's no positive in this.
There's definitely a positive. The positive is we're on a podcast talking about it.
Right.
And so is every other person. You're getting tweets from all the pros. It definitely gains fan interest in Major League Pickleball, which is great for the sport. However, the look is bad. And I think it's really bad for Colin and Ben. Like when I think about like who's this affecting the most, it's affecting Ben because every time he pulls one of these I'm not playing modes, he's losing fans probably by the thousands.
Right.
Which is crazy to think. Like if you see Tyson's the opposite. Like he is making sure that at every moment he's there for the fans, or Anna Leigh is playing her heart out no matter what. And when she's playing with Agassi, she knew she had a tough hill to climb. There wasn't one moment she wasn't calling a timeout when she thought she needed it,
100%.
Talking about strategy, switching with him, fighting as hard as she could, even though maybe it wasn't likely they were going to win all the way through the week. And so I think it's Ben and Colin and we keep saying this year after year. It's the crazy thing. It's like the first time. It's the third time we've had this conversation. It's like
they're just pattern of behavior.
They're killing their fan base. And I don't know what that is. Like I don't know why that thought's not going through his head. Like, hey, these fans are paying me.
I don't think he can help it. I think it's like something that he really has to work on and maybe talk to a sports psychologist and sit down with the people close to him that can maybe help him mature. I mean, you have to remember he's 25, 24. Like help him understand, hey.
Yeah, but he's been in almost 10 years.
I understand. But I don't think he necessarily has the perspective of I owe pickleball. I don't think he views it that way. And the reality is he does immensely for the remainder of his existence. And it's a big burden to some extent, but that's what comes with millions of dollars every year. And, people bowing to your feet and calling you the GOAT or the greatest of all time. Like it or not, you have to be professional.
Yeah.
So Zane tweeted that after watching him tank, he thinks that he should be suspended, not from MLP since he doesn't want to play that, but actually from the PPA tour. Do you think that that's a fair?
Yes, statement? I think that's right because
it's one product. We're UPA, right?
Yep, exactly. We're both tours. It's clear that he's showcasing he's not interested in MLP. So he wouldn't care if you suspended him from MLP events. You have to suspend him from the events that he wants to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might
Interesting.
work.
Yeah, I mean,
That or money. I mean, I think
they're one and the same. If I suspend you from events and you can't play them, you're losing the money that you get to come to the event.
that would be a pricey punishment. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
These are pricey moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's tough to know really where the line is on this, because apparently Ben did have a injury as a child that's affected his eyesight. And so that's what he's claiming, that not enough lumens in the court are affecting his peripheral. But what's interesting is that, I mean, despite that, Colin pulls out, right? And Colin wears glasses now. So
could never affect his effort.
Right.
Your effort, I would think, would even go up. Like if you're having something that's difficult for you, you're probably going to have to try harder in the other areas to make up for that.
The only two things you have in control of are your attitude and your effort. That's
right.
It. Outside of that, people can play better. You know, maybe the ball's soft, the conditions aren't great, whatever. But you can control attitude and effort. And, you know, again, I have some empathy for him because he's failing miserably on both of those fronts. And I hope that the people that are close to him that have influence get around him and be like, hey, don't do this, man. Like, fucking, come on. You're better than this. The game needs you. Pickleball growing is good for you, and you're good for it. So let's get on the same page here and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Okay, so let's pivot slightly. I mean, it's sort of related. Now that they pulled out, it kind of overlaps with the topic we were going to talk about from last weekend, which is around substitution of players. So we have 5th and 6th roster slots that teams have been creating in order to have substitutes. Last weekend, AJ Kohler ended up substituting in, who was an on-site sub, because the team didn't bring in their 5th and 6th players. And now Colin and Ben are out, and Caitlin and Christian was already out. So 3 out of the 4 players on their team are now out with no subs that are from the roster. So, you know, what's your guys' opinion on generally just that as a whole? And then obviously the new quick turnaround on a rule of points being deducted.
I personally think that if you're not going to be using your 5th and 6th man, woman, that shouldn't exist, because then that makes Challenger better. Like I don't like the fact that we've diluted Challenger in order for them to have those players, and then those players aren't even going to be showcased on the MLP platform. Makes 0 sense. Mm-hmm. So the 1 point punishment for every time they don't play, I don't think that's enough. So either get rid of the 5th and 6th man from Premier, drop them back down so we can grab them in Challenger and showcase them in actual play, or it's got to be a pretty severe punishment for not having your 5th or 6th man and woman sub in for that moment. That's my personal take.
It's difficult because everyone's contract is based on events, and you're basically paying them an event to ultimately not play. So I grasp that it's a difficult scenario for UPA as a whole. And if there's anything we know, this thing is fluid. Like, things change every fucking event, seemingly, whether it's serve rule, scoring. So, you know, I'm sure it'll get right. I don't exactly know the solution currently.
Yeah. What would you do? So your vote would be to have them forfeit a match or something?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the punishment
use the on-site. Just use the on-site ones.
I mean, my vote was to not have 6 players be on a team.
Yeah, I think it's too early for that.
I think it's too early for that. Exactly. I think that we need all the talent we can get to have very good players sitting on the sidelines for the entire season, or even at home, makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
It's a good idea in theory, but like you said, just not there yet.
We're not there yet. We don't have enough big enough talent pool to be doing that. That's my gut feeling.
Right. So, I mean, we were at MLP in person last weekend, and did you think you enjoyed it? You had a good time generally?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, the fan base keeps growing, right? Bigger and bigger every event. The fans are like rabid for it. They go crazy over this. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. And the court wasn't as bad in person.
It actually grew on me.
Really?
Maybe not in person, but when I first turned on, I was like, this is so dumb. And then as I kept watching, I was like, kind of fucking cool. Like, it stands out. And then, I mean, like, I think you can go with that shade of orange. That's right. Like, take the team colors. Let's build that fan base as much as possible. Maybe next time more just a matted orange as opposed to a bright orange.
Yeah.
Or what
Small.
if they extended the blue out a little further and made the orange just a perimeter?
Sure.
Like another 3 feet, let's say,
That's fair.
wide of blue, and then put your orange trim on
But
it.
even the blue is like the blue at the club
It's the
blue
wrong blue.
reference.
It's too
It's too bright. It feels like you're in the ocean. It's like, fuck.
I had no
No.
problem with it. And a lot of people were messaging and calling saying, we can't even see the ball
Right.
once they're
Well, the thing is, like,
not in the
bright
kitchen.
colors are not great. It's always better as a player. Like, you always say something looks good, and I always tell you I could care less how it fucking looks. I want to know if I can see.
Yeah.
And when I looked at that court, it's like, that's going to be tough. And so using more matted finishes, like, we're still going to know it's the squeeze if it's orange and blue. Just use a slightly different tint to ensure that the players aren't being compromised with their vision.
Or the TV. Apparently TV.
Or the
viewership
TV.
was difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't know if they can predict how it's going to look on TV,
Right.
but
But great for branding, good in pictures,
Right. Yeah,
fine
for
in
sure.
person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big fan of all that.
Yeah.
They did. I thought that was really cool.
A slight tweak.
The intentions were really good.
So, and then obviously the first time we've seen side out scoring for MLP, do you have any feelings on it so far?
Well, I think there's been a lot of posts about it already. The variation in time match to match was so substantial. Like, I guess you had some matches that as a total lasted an hour between all four. And then you had others that lasted 3.5 hours, I guess was the longest one between the Shock and Fives, maybe? No.
Yeah, maybe.
But another one that lasted forever. And so I think that unpredictability is not ideal. I still like the idea that it's cohesive beyond PPA, MLP, that, you know, we're always using the same scoring system. It just is less exciting from what I prefer and what I know MLP to be. Now, whether that'll change with time, I'm just so accustomed to, you win a point, you get a point, you lose a point, you lose a point. And that drama that creates, that's obviously been taken away.
Yeah, Luke, you actually had a great point on this, talking about cheering inside out.
Yes, I noticed it when we were in the VIP section looking at the crowd, and the camera guy was literally in front of me. So I'm watching his view through the lens, waiting for the crowd to cheer to get a good like side close up on them all, like going crazy. And he had to wait 3 to 4 rallies before it happened because there was no point gained. It was just, you know, side out, unforced error, side out, or whatever, right? And so it kind of made the momentum of the crowd dip, and it's hard to pull the crowd back into that like crazy fan yelling, jumping when you get rallies that slow you down. And so I think that was the beauty of rally, is that everything means something. So you're cheering for your team or the other team, and it's just, it keeps the energy at a real high place.
So Commish, great event, but we're still going to stand on rally scoring needs to come back, so that you can cheer for every single point that's made in the rally, and so that we can get these times where they're normal. Because I noticed in the blowouts, the really fast hour-long matches, the fans weren't in it because it's a blowout. How can you get in it? And then in the really long ones, there was spectator exhaustion. Like, I had it. I was sitting in the baking sun. I was watching that 3.5 hour match, and by like hour 2, you're like, I don't really care who wins.
Just
like,
let it end.
Let it end. This is crazy. Like, really, you get fatigued. You can't watch something. It's like baseball. You can't watch it straight for 3.5 hours. It doesn't work.
The argument, like when I've said also that, you know, the primary issue here beyond the things you're stating is like, which fan base are we trying to attract? The ones who are already playing pickleball, or the new guy who just turns on Fox Sports and he's like, okay, the rules are simple, I can follow this. And yeah, I just think it's a very, very challenging thing to have these variations. But again, sorry, what was said is like, okay, tennis is 15, 30, 40. It's challenging scoring. Football is challenging with the scoring system. But my thing is, that was before you had social media and all these potential things for content that you could drift to. We're in a day and age where you have like 5 seconds to capture somebody. If it's confusing, you lose them. So to me, to go to a scoring system that is difficult, even though that 40 million people already know it, you're short-sighted. You're not thinking about the longevity of all the people that are coming in and getting it. So I don't like the argument of, you know, NFL has weird scoring and tennis has weird scoring. It's a different era. It's a different world.
Yeah.
We got to bring back rally.
Yeah.
I'm standing
Team
strong
rally
on that.
Yeah. It was funny though when Caitlin was interviewing people in the crowd, she was like, "Hey, where are you from?" And they're like, "I'm from this place." It's like, "Is this your first MLP?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "What's your favorite thing about MLP?" And they'll be like, "Rally scoring."
No way.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. And it
Damn.
was like more than one person.
But I mean, how exciting are those matches? Even
Yeah.
teams that are mismatched, that
It can get close. Yeah.
It gets close, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
All right. So let me do some quick fire stuff to wrap things up, and then we'll call it a day. But there's huge news for USA Pickleball doing a countersuit against Yola. I don't know if we have much of an opinion on it, but it's pretty big.
That was a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. We didn't talk about it, did we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It happened a bit ago.
Yeah. So they're countersuing because
for the same amount that they're sued for.
Right. Yeah. And for covering all their attorney fees and whatnot. But they in the lawsuit included pictures of the foam that was a cross section or cut of the foam that they submitted versus ones they found on the market.
Whoa.
And it was huge difference.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they have evidence that they.
What's huge in your mind?
Like, I mean, inches of like foam difference in the pictures.
Let's call it double
the foam. Yeah.
Which makes it's a dramatic difference in
right.
battle.
Exactly. So their argument is that they purposefully submitted less foam for the approval and then purposefully put it in the market with more. So should be interesting to see where that plays out. But
yeah, I mean, that's tough. I feel like Yola is kind of the big dog, and USAP is like this nonprofit run by a handful of small people that, yes, they make money, but I don't think they're making anywhere close to what Yola money.
No.
And so even if they are right, let's say that they are, they're doing their job and trying to do it correctly, I think that's going to be a very difficult battle for USAP. So
I mean, it's been going on for like a year and a half now, this lawsuit.
Yeah. And probably another year and a half.
Yeah. Unless they just settle.
Or they settle.
Yeah. Interesting. And then for Atlanta coming up, the next PPA, we've got Rachel and Catherine paired up, which if you look at the points race right now, puts them at the top because of the points that Rachel has more than Anna.
Yeah, she played a couple more events, I think.
And Catherine has just shy of a few from Anna. So put them together and it actually ends up making them pretty high up.
So they split up to become the second team. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rachel, you and Catherine are the favorites. We expect you to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Should be a no-brainer victory gold medal in Atlanta for them.
I mean, everyone was making the MLP Sunday breakup Sunday because they wanted to see that matchup. But I really think that this Atlanta PPA is going to be the test.
If they make it to the finals.
If they make it to the finals.
Sure.
If they play each other.
Oh,
that would be, because then it's long and it's arduous and there's a lot more intertension. I think I didn't see the match, but I did hear that when Catherine came out to play Anna Leigh there, she was feisty.
Wow.
And Anna Leigh said something in the post match, like she came out with something to prove.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
And the crowd was behind her.
Right.
We were there.
Yeah.
I mean, good to see that.
They were pumping up Catherine Prento, and Prento was playing out of her mind.
Yeah. And she got a new paddle.
With the new paddle. It was really cool.
The new Selkirk paddle is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, super excited for that. In terms of other paddles, we've got some switches. Kwangdong switches paddles to a Asian brand, Vietnamese brand.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what it's called. Yeah. He no more Selkirk. He's with a Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And it sounds just like a Gen 4.
Sure.
It's the same shit.
I'm sure it'll be the same thing. Yeah. And then we've got Fraser who moved to Valère.
Yep.
And then we've got Pisnik who moved to a brand new one, Warping Point, which is no one.
Yeah, Warping Point. I think she can use her paddle that she chooses until they make the paddle that she desires. And then Federico now using his Adidas paddle.
Yeah.
Actually.
Interesting.
Sounds, looks, everything like a Yola.
Oh yeah, I was actually with him.
There is no variation.
He was hitting. I walked up at him and Fraser warming up for their match, and I'm like, "Oh, hitting the Adidas." Like, yeah. I'm like, "Oh, it sounds right." And he's like, "Sounds can be deceiving." This is kind of his comment, but like, "Sounds right." And he's like, "Yeah, it can come off." And so he was happier than I think he was before.
Yeah,
but I think the Adidas paddles are good in general. Like the new Metal Bone is poppy and somewhat spinny. This one that he's hitting seems like it's got plenty of pop and spin. I don't think Adidas was that far off.
Right.
It was just like needs some minor tweaking.
Yeah. Except the UPAA are very concerned about the objects that are detachable in case they fly off.
For sure.
Oh, you can't play Metal Bones with those weights.
No.
Correct.
It can't have anything that's removable.
That makes sense to me.
It does?
Yeah. I mean, they don't screw it in all the way. You fucking go like this and the screw comes off in the face. Yeah, please, I don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why Rafa has tape added, which is kind of funny to think about. He's had to add his own weight.
Covering it?
Yeah. No, you just had to add his own weight.
He's putting weight over the weight spots.
Yeah. It's kind of an ironic situation. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it scares me even in rec play just as much as it would in, professional play.
I haven't thought about that. A piece coming off the paddle and hitting.
Well,
him?
I mean, if you think about it, you're screwing something into a thin face, like what is it screwing into? Like how much thread is there that it's connected
Not to mention, it's gonna come loose at some point.
Right.
It's bound to. All that torque and vibration from hitting the ball, it's gonna come loose at some point.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of scary.
They do that on golf clubs. Even 10 years ago, we were screwing stuff into golf clubs.
Yeah.
Guys, are we going to talk about my coaching job or what?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Oh my God.
Did we put that in the notes?
I can't believe we didn't. It was, it was right at the beginning. And then
guys, like the biggest thing in my life.
Sorry, I was distracted by all the shirtless photos of yourself you have in the house.
Put some up. I don't blame her. That's when I was attractive.
I mean,
got real lazy the past year.
All right. Tell us about your coaching job then. Obviously very proud.
I was very proud, really hoping to get some good content, but they haven't created this board yet.
Oh God.
We had another Luke incident where we were in a panic to start recording.
It was panicked.
It was super panicked. Guy was yelling at us to get out the way.
We tried to put a GoPro behind so that I would hold a microphone and then we could kind of like see what I was saying to Andre, which obviously wasn't that valuable. And then, all of a sudden it was like, shit, I can't get the microphones to work. Why? Don't have the cord.
I just sat there. I'm like, what are you looking for? He's like, there's a cord I need. And I'm like, is it an important cord? He's like, yeah, it's the one that makes it work.
Yeah.
And there would have been potential alternatives, but in that moment, it was like the match was starting. All these people, it was a little bit,
Yeah.
It's all right. There's a lot of Agassi content. We got some good stuff still to release from
he's play,
matches,
like I said, he's going to play US Open next year.
Right.
Maybe next week. And he'll probably,
Yeah.
It was a one-time deal, guys.
So are you proud of his effort? I mean, what were your expectations going into it?
No, I actually thought they could win it. I still believe that if he was at 100%.
Yeah.
I think that he was trying to find what was comfortable. Anna Leigh and him thought that it was better to have him on the left. I thought it was better to have him on the right. But, leading into the event, he had several injections into his back. The guy is an absolute fucking warrior. You've got to respect him. His commitment to the game, to promoting the sport, is unmatched. And so it was probably not even wise for him to go out and play. And I don't think not playing once he arrived was ever on the agenda. He was going to do it. But I think he felt that being on the left was the right play. And I think Anna Leigh could have gotten a lot bigger.
What was their argument for why he was on the left? Like, what was their reasoning behind why it's better?
Anna Leigh really liked it. Like she wanted her backhand in the center, that he could run around and hit forehands. But I think still that makes him have to move a lot more to hit the forehand. And in his mind, he says his backhand dink cross is his safe space. But my argument to him was it's also safe for the other guy. And then I think it becomes difficult because now he's the one creating offense up the line, where when he was on the right, which I think was a better format, his role was more clear. And clarity is vital, especially for someone who it's their first tournament, how much they're supposed to attack, how much they're supposed to do this. Clarity is everything.
His cross-court forehand roll wasn't bad at all.
No, it's good. That's what I'm saying.
It was good.
He thought his backhand dink was better, and I was trying to convince him your forehand dink is better.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
And then he was more calm and he could take it out of the air.
Yeah.
But listen, all of this is minuscule compared to his effort, the response. And then even after, what he said to me was like, I just hope I did enough. I really want to move the sport forward, and I just hope I did enough. And it was like, my man, like you fucking did plenty. Like this is huge news. I don't know why he chose me to help him and now establish this friendship, but I'm grateful as can be. And yeah, he's obsessed with the fucking game. Like when I say we're having hours of conversation every day, we're having hours of conversation every day, even since the match ended. And yeah, he's doing the sport a great service. And credit to Anna Leigh, man. She took it 100%. She busted her ass every point. Tons of respect for her, the way she handles herself, the way she competes. You could never even question for a moment that she's not all the way in it. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. Cool to be a part of. Happy to have a lot of the Crescent Lake folks there watching. And, atmosphere was fucking electric. And he's the most gracious, humble person of that status that I've ever encountered.
The fans, I couldn't believe the reaction of the fans because, I don't know Agassi that well, Did you know him well? Like, do you?
I knew of him, but
how
not
big he is?
not to the scale. No.
He would. I'm not kidding. He would just look in the direction of the crowd.
Oh yeah,
and the
people
crowd
would cheer.
went crazy.
Yeah,
like just from looking.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
early
cow.
90s, he was one of the 5 biggest athletes in the world along all sports.
I know, but for 30 years later, be able to look at a group of people.
I mean, he's looking at the right crowd.
Is wild.
That crowd's demographic was trending,
of course,
pretty
but
hard.
even so,
but so they knew.
Yeah, but that's important. Yeah, that's important. If you're 20, if they're 20, they're like, who? This guy?
This might be the first time they've ever been able to see him. You know?
Probably.
And
his whole family was there supporting and watching. They were as nice as could be too. It's just a good family. He's good people.
Yeah.
And the fans go crazy for him. Crazy.
His birthday was April 29th. So literally the whole family flew in to be with him. I think it says a lot about him. I was like joking with him, like, my family's fucking stray dogs. Like, we see each other dumpster every 5 years. And here you are, you guys are all coming together. They all supported him. Whole family was into pickle the day after he lost. In fact, he stayed in. They went to the beach, and his family, Steffi Graf and kids, went to play pickle.
Nice.
So, they're not imposters, which he was also concerned about. He's like, do you think they realize that I'm really into it? It was like, again, you can't fake that authenticity.
Yeah.
Joy was like exuberating from your face. Meanwhile, his back was so fucked up. He never complained once. He didn't bitch once. He just went out there and did his best.
Yeah.
So given the chance, if he did this again, repeated it next year, do you think that he would be in a much better position to win it more decisively?
No question. I think his improvement from now to then will be crazy, because his mind works like 10 times faster. And I think he's trying to like comprise all this data and figure out what he can do with it. But it would be foolish to bet against the fact that he's going to invest time.
Yeah.
Because like, fuck, yesterday we had an hour-and-a-half conversation about backhand dinks. I'm not kidding. And he's committed to getting better. So
that's awesome.
It's going to be really fucking cool to see what he chooses to do as time progresses with the sport. He's obviously more focused on the recreational side.
Right.
That's where it all lives, but he does believe strongly that within like 3 years, pro pickleball will be a great consumer product.
US Open seems like the right spot for him to have done this, I think. More so than the PPA.
I think he was appreciated most there.
Yeah.
He got to have the focus be on what it should be, which is, someone even said, I think it was Jack Monroe, he was like, who fucking twisted this guy's arm to get here? It was like, no, dude, he like actually wants to be here.
Right.
So it was definitely the right place, the right showcase. And I just wish he was at 100% with his back, because I think he could have showed a little more.
Yeah. It's awesome. It was great watching.
Yeah, it was. It was fun.
Now we just need to get Steffi to do a mixed with someone else.
I don't see that happening. I don't think she's interested in that at all.
No, I guess not.
No.
They could do 5-0 and then they both play pro with some other pro.
Yeah, right.
We'll see what we can pull off.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. All right, sick. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you. Bad calls and tennis.
Bad calls and tennis sucks, you're right.